Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's football show here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme. Celtic assistant John Collins says some players will leave in the summer to try and get some game time elsewhere. Johnny Hayes and Martin Waghorn are facing a lengthy period on the sidelines through injury, and the League Cup final will return to the month of November next season. That's just a few of the topics we will be discussing on the programme tonight. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin, and the esteemed journalist Hugh MacDonald is here with us, nailing his colours firmly to the mast, Ruffy, with his brand new Borussia Dortmund present.
Very smart. Very Christmas present.
Yeah. Guten Abend.
Yep, absolutely. There are other German jumpers available as well, just so that we cover our tail on that. But Hugh is here with us. We've got lots to talk about tonight. Of course, the main one from John Collins was speaking, saying he expects some players to move on in the summer. They've got a big squad, and this is what he had to say about the players trying to get into the team.
You better having too many good players and not enough, but we've certainly got every fit near enough. I think we've got 2 players out at the moment, so we've got a big squad, so there's lots of competition for places, and we're seeing the benefit on the training pitch. Everybody's flying about, desperate to prove themselves, everybody desperate to get in the team. I think come the end of the season there will be players that will move out, but at this moment in time we're a big squad, everybody's fighting for the jerseys, to be in the squad. And that's good. It's a good problem to have.
Yep, I think more than a few midfielders will be moving out here.
It'll be a fire sale. I mean, there are many to get rid. I mean, Dirk Boredka is a classic one. Candlelit vigils held for his health. Hasn't played for 2 years. Yeah, they've really got to trim the squad because they were wanting to bring in a couple of people as well. So yeah, that'll be turmoil at the end of the season there. Yeah,
you mentioned Bo Richter, which is probably an obvious choice. I'm just wondering, Ruffy, if you could think of 2 or 3 others that would be heading out that door. I always, listen to a number of people down through the years to say that anyone who can't get a game becomes suddenly a better player when they're on the bench. But I still think that I'm amazed that Scott Allen hasn't been able to force his way into that side.
Yeah, and I think it's these young players that will have to think about getting games. I mean, Ryan Christie is going to be there as well. You know, I don't think he'll want to sit on the bench if he goes on the bench, that is. So these young boys need to be playing at a high level. It just remains to be seen, you know, where they go. And but there are a lot of players hanging about that I would think rather than put them out alone, they would rather than get them off the books and bring other people in.
Yeah, is Ayer one of those players that fits into the category one for the future and won't see first team next season? Of course, this is on the basis that the management team will be there.
Yeah, quite. I mean, there's big questions to be answered about that as well. Yeah, I would presume so. I think though there'll be, you know, as well as getting people off the books, which they have to do, I think the midfield looks like the place where, you know, Celtic every year want to have to sell a player. And I think the best options for selling anybody's in midfield, Beaton, Rogic and Johansson, would be the 3 players that presumably get interest from down south. So one of them, maybe 2 of them will go.
Yep, OK. Let's move on to other matters. Injuries. Now, some players recover from injuries quicker than others, so I'm not going to get too hung up on the length of time here, which seems to be doing the rounds at the moment, Ruffy. Martin Waghorn, he has said on Twitter 6 to 8 weeks. Rangers have released a statement saying maybe not as bad as first feared, but he's out.
Yeah, this is when the physio earns his corn. I remember Brian Scott at Celtic when he was there. I think it was Henrik Larsson in particular, said that this guy could work miracles, you know, and I think they told Henrik Larsson he was going to be out for whatever time it was, and Brian brought him back in 50% of that time. So the physio, if you get a really good one, you can work with him night and day. You're hoping that you can come back earlier.
Yeah, Waghorn has been crucial to the success of Rangers, although I think Nicky Clark will feel as if he's got a point to prove, and there's nothing better than scoring a winning goal and then trying to get a new deal.
Exactly, and I think it's Clark's time, and football's such a brutal game that everybody's injury, everybody's downside, it's an upside for somebody else, and it's a huge upside for Clark because he can move into that slot and say, listen, you know, I deserve a chance anytime. I always think he looks bright and sparky when he's in the team, and he's a goal scorer as well. So this is his moment. And remember, Waghorn was going through a wee while. His form wasn't brilliant. I mean, he was scoring goals, but mostly from the penalty spot. So I think Clark's got a shot at this now.
Okay, if that's an option for Rangers, the one bit of what I would call the cherry on the top of the cake for Aberdeen is Johnny Hayes. I don't see anybody that can replace the quality that he gives that Don side, Ruffy.
No, that was noticeable during the week there. He's got great energy about him, you know, when he's on the ball. He's like wee boy McGinn, you know, he makes things happen, you know, when he runs at people, he puts them under pressure, and he's going to be sadly missed. He's going to be a massive, when we all talk about Rooney and McGinn, I think he's going to be a massive miss for them.
I think he's the best player at Aberdeen, and I think it showed in their biggest victory, which was, beating Celtic at Pittodrie. The first half an hour Celtic were completely, I thought, in control. Certainly possession-wise, didn't they? There was no siege. And then he produces that shot, which he's capable. And one of the great things he's got is that run and getting the ball whipped in. A lot of Rooney's goals come from that. I think if people were talking about, what happens to Aberdeen if Rooney goes, what happens to Celtic if Griffiths goes? I always felt that that Johnny Hayes was the real one for Aberdeen. It's a big blow for them.
Yeah, and they've got to bounce back and get a win over your old team, Partick Thistle. Without Johnny Hayes, they reckon he could be out for up to a month.
Yeah, and Aberdeen have got a good record against Partick Thistle. You know, they've beaten Partick Thistle quite comfortably. Partick went off the boil a wee bit just now, so it's another difficult game, but it depends how it goes on the night. But you would think Aberdeen, with the strength that they've got, would win that.
Yeah, you obviously have defended Dundee United to the hilt, Ruffy, so you clearly think Aberdeen can still win the league.
Aberdeen?
Yes.
No.
No?
I said Celtic all along. I think if Aberdeen finish second, it'd be a bonus for them. But it's finishing second would be a poor season for Derek McInnes, particularly being out of the cups as well, in light of the success they've had.
Yeah, okay, that brings me nicely to... I'm not going to discuss your logic, because only a man who sees Dundee United so far detached at the bottom and they can save themselves, yet Aberdeen...
He's not ruled Dundee United out in the league.
No, absolutely not. Listen, stranger things have happened this week with Ruffy. I mean, some of his rantings this week have left me bemused. He thinks Dundee United can save themselves. I'm going to ask you this, Hugh. What effect do you think the rant from the chairman will have on the players?
Well, it certainly won't have a beneficial one, will it? I mean, they're down. I mean, they're out of that division as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. But I mean, down in morale and emotional confidence gone. I mean, the last thing you would think they want to do is lift up the papers and say, read how bad they are from their own chairman. The manager, too, can't be heavily impressed by it as well, because he's brought in several of them, and he's also been charged with, galvanising the rest of them. I just think it was an astonishing statement, because I said, what is to be gained from this? Is he trying to get the fans back on side, trying to say, a big boy did this and ran away? I just don't know. I do not know what was served by coming out with that. If he wanted to apologise, stop at an apology and say, we're going to do everything, from the players right through to, to try and turn this around. But to just throw them under the bus like that, it's just astonishing.
Yeah, I read one journalist in the tabloids this morning who basically, the headline, if you want to actually, blame somebody for this, look in the mirror.
Oh, I mean, I would like to think he will look in the mirror. He's the one that makes the decisions. He's the one that released the statements. Everything falls on him. I think Jackie McNamara is blameless in this whole thing. It's all down to him. He has to take the blame.
Yeah, and they've got Hearts at the weekend, Ruffy. If they lose that game to Hearts, they've still got a chance to escape in European qualification.
No, I'm still hanging in there. I think there's 39 points up for grabs.
Yeah.
They're only behind the now 13. Yeah, something like that. There's always belief. You have to get. You're a footballer. You have to keep believing that there's something going to happen. I know the result midweek didn't look good, but things change. I tell you, I've been there.
Ruffy still thinks Glenn Miller is missing.
I would think you two would remember that in a big title run there was 7 points turned round in a championship run-in. So
yeah, 7 points. Yeah, turned round by two teams that were actually playing well. It's just a minor technicality. Just on that point, Ruffy. Obviously, you're not going to win the Martin Waghorn bet, and we're certainly disappointed that he's not playing. Will you take the bet then? Will we take the bet that we'll have the bottle of wine on Dundee United escaping?
No, I think Wycorn will be back.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm giving you an out
Uh-huh.
here. What about United?
What about United?
What about Hugh and myself out for a wee meal? United avoid the drop.
Avoid the drop. Why not?
Yes, there you go. Fantastic. That's good enough for us. Oh, listen, we're going to film that. It's going to go on the pro. No, we're going for a break. Shut up, Ruffy. We've taken that bit. We'll be back after this break discussing wine. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Well, if Hugh MacDonald, our bookroom guest tonight, can wear a Borussia Dortmund jumper, if United escape the drop at the bottom of the Premiership, Ruffy is going to wear a Dundee United top on the show, the last one of the series, and you're going to jump about in the back of the studio here. Is that fair?
Yes, I'll be over the moon. This would be a prediction that I would really, really hope that it might happen.
Yeah.
Okay,
But,
I'm happy with that, Ruffy. We're going to be out for a meal, and we're also going to phone John Clark to borrow one of his Dundee United tops so Ruffy can wear it. Okay, let's crack on. The League Cup, back to November. Good decision by the SPFL.
I think so, and I think we routinely give them a kicking, so when they get something right, I think it's only just that we say so, and I think I'm looking forward to seeing how the revamped League Cup does, and yeah, I'm all for that. Good news story, yes.
Yep, I'm for it as well. I enjoyed it when I played. Enjoyed the early competition. Like Hugh, I'm a wee bit anxious to see how they're going to work the sections. I hope they do it sensibly, and I hope they don't show anybody any favours, and I hope it's competitive.
I think the good thing about it, though, Hugh, here is it gives everybody that chance of silverware early on. I think it gives the country a lift. You know, when you've got something to celebrate early on in the year.
I think so as well, and it gives. I mean, we're now having the League Cup for a while. You know, just after the new year, and when other things in the season are kicking in. Hopefully, at one time, maybe. Who knows, if we pray long enough, we might have European ties at that time, but we certainly have the Scottish Cup reaching its climax, the relegation battle and the other battles for titles and championships. So to get that as a wee taster, a wee bit of spice early in the season is great, and did you ever do anything in that League Cup, Ruffy?
Vague, just the once. Just the once, a wee narrow one against Celtic.
Yeah, absolutely, and he thought it was going to last forever. He thought he was going to be winning cups and trophies every year. But thankfully he didn't, and that's why he's here with us on this programme, to be perfectly honest with you. Okay, if the League Cup is a good decision, is the next good decision scrapping Scottish Cup replays?
I'm kind of conflicted about this because I think I'll go out and say no. I don't think it is. I think you should have a replay, and I think imagine if a team, a lower league team, went away and parked the bus at Parkhead or Ibrox, and got them nothing each, or one each, and we talk about the romance of the cup. And you had to go back to their midden for the second game. And to be robbed of that, to extra time and penalties, I'm against it. I'm against it.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with you, Hugh, on this emphatically, because I think as an entertainment, Ruffy, money's tight. We want to try and give people entertainment. I think scrap the replay, penalties on the night, the excitement of having the chance, if you got to penalties, of knocking out one of the big guns. Whether it's on their patch or your own.
Yeah, I'm caught in the middle of the two of you. I agree.
There is no middle, you'll have to agree.
There is a middle. No, I think there are teams, just say East Fife went to Ibrox or Parkhead and got a draw. Why take it away from them that they can't get another money spinner? I'd get that bit from exciting. I'd cut the extra time if you're going to go down your road and just straight to penalties.
Yeah, I quite like. Listen, I'm not against going to the extra time, but penalties, everybody knows it's going to be resolved.
Extra time gives the home team another half an hour at their own pitch.
Yeah, well, okay, let's go straight to penalties.
Yeah, me.
You happy with that?
Yep. Let's go the run for the halfway line. 10 seconds to score.
Now, you might think that's, listen, that's only one of many things that you suggested on the programme that people can't believe, but you were actually involved in that sort of thing,
Yeah, I
weren't
used
you?
to do that in America. They did it there, because I think penalties now are getting, after that farce we had last week with Messi, it's just getting a joke now.
Yeah.
You know, let's give somebody a wee bit of ability that they have to dribble with the ball and actually get to the box and have some kind of ability to get by. Give the goalkeeper a sort of a 50-50 chance.
Yeah. Okay. Remember, the views of Ruffy are not necessarily the views of STV and anybody who really likes to enjoy football. He's out on his own on this one, by the way. We like we like a bit of fun. You've been getting pelters on social media for your roasting of Lionel Messi. I mean, it was a bit of entertainment. We want that in the game, Ruffy. We want a bit of petulance, which is Ronaldo, Hugh, in the press conference.
Magnificent.
Not happy that anybody's questioning his goal-scoring record, and he then proceeds to score a wonder goal against Roma.
I love Ronaldo. I just think I love everything about him. I love the fact that he loves Ronaldo. Yes. And the press conference was just great because it threw up so many lines. The other line it threw up, which was a really interesting one, when the questioner was asking about, you know, like Messi and Neymar and Suarez are great mates. How are you? You know, you're not great mates with Bale or Benzema, and he went, "Well, I don't have to be. I wasn't great mates with Scholes or Ferdinand and all that. And we won Champions Leagues and that." I thought that was a good point, because some people have this idea that in dressing rooms everybody gets on and everybody's great, and Ruffy knows that being basically the pariah at Partick Thistle with nobody getting on with him.
Yeah.
But he was still part of a winning team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, at the end of the day, just because you've got a programme where there's two people in the title doesn't necessarily mean they hang about together. Just bear that in mind. Just on that point, I mean, I think I can remember Sheringham and Cole.
Exactly.
They certainly didn't get on together, but they could score goals for fun.
I don't think Roy Keane got on with anybody.
Yeah. Well,
Did you, I mean, without naming names, was there people that you didn't go on with and you were in the same team? Without naming names?
Not at all, no. Not at all. I think everybody I played with, I enjoyed their company and they were good fun. There was nobody I disliked
there's
at all.
nobody that you had a disagreement with, or that you...
No.
No fights?
No. Can't say it. No, none at all.
Okay, well, that ruins that competition that we were going to put out. Okay, I mean, Real Madrid, are they realistically Champions League? Are they getting your vote? Who did you tip to win the Champions League? I'm looking at it right now, and
I was glad to tip Barcelona. I see no reason to go away from that. But I noticed Real Madrid, presumably because they think the bookies think they're through to the quarters, are now 92, and I thought that's not a bad price.
Yeah.
You know, in a one-off game with Barca, would you back totally against Real? I wouldn't.
Yeah. PSG, are they just one of those teams that get to quarters, semis, and then
Well,
that's
I said at the beginning when you gave me a choice, I took Bayern, but I thought PSG would be just move up a wee level and maybe go to the next round. And I think on the evidence, it's hard to judge against Chelsea. I think Chelsea are just on the wane. But no, I think PSG have got players in there that could take them a wee bit further.
Yeah. Do you think they can win it?
Yes, why not? Let's go for that one.
Well, to be fair, let me tell you something.
PSG, European, Champions League, Dundee United. Let's go for a treble. What else is there out there?
I have to say to you, this is the God's honest truth. The only thing missing from this programme right now is the huge Indian gentleman from One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest who takes the sink and just throws it through the window.
Absolutely.
It's that type of programme with you on it tonight, Ruffy.
Go the whole hog. That's a double. I'm going to go for that treble. There's a dog with 3 legs running at Sheffield for the weekend. Put your money in that and all.
Zlatan for Manchester United. Now that would be absolutely fantastic,
wouldn't it? And he's still. I mean, he still looks class. I mean, I watched him the other night, and he still looks, top notch. Really strong. Beautiful touch. I mean, given the some of the buys that Manchester United have made, I mean, I thought wearing my Borussia jersey, I mean, I thought Schweinsteiger was an awful buy. I mean, because even in Germany at the time, people were saying this guy's knees are gone, and but Abramovich fit, ready and willing. Well, I think he's a top-notch player. I mean, I think he's just outside that Messi, Neymar, Ronaldo bracket. I think that's how good he is.
Yeah, I was just about to say to you, I mean, he's at the tail end of his career, but I think he's well worthy of being considered one of the all-time greats. Is that fair, or am I overstating it a bit?
Yeah, I agree with Hugh. He's just not taking that extra step, that big step, the big World Cup step. And I always say, to go to a World Cup and when it's finished, that's all the guy you're talking about. I don't think he's made that yet, but I think for him to go there, I think you'll find Rooney going to China or something like that.
Yeah.
I think he's on his way out.
Yeah, so he's not an all-time great.
Oh,
No.
not that. Well, it all depends how you define it, but it's certainly not as.
Not in the top 10.
No.
Okay. Last point then, which is basically no surprise for you, Ruffy. There's no retrospective on Ross Draper. I thought he might have got a wee retrospective slapping the knuckles for.
Well, you need to get 100% that he wasn't touched. You know, nowadays if you just brush against somebody, you fall down. So that's probably the evidence that he would go on.
Okay. Listen, it's been an absolute joy. It's been an unusual programme tonight. There's been a few statements that you might have agreed or disagreed with. You can let us know on social media at Peter and Ruffy on Twitter and Facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy. My thanks to Hugh MacDonald for joining us on the programme. And of course, as ever, Jack Nicholson was played by Alan Ruff in tonight's programme for some of his rants and ravings. You might agree with him, but then again, you might not. Join us tomorrow on the programme. Jack Ross is our guest.